Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
The bricks of Indianapolis have seen it all, legends made, dreams shattered, and history written one brick at a time. Welcome everybody to round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. 75 minutes of fierce competition awaits where LMP3 and GT4 machinery will fight for every inch of the racing capital of the world. I'm Greg Ginsburg, and joining me in the announce booth, as always, is Larry Lefty McLeod, and of course, let's not forget Brian Grabowski, giving you all the best views of tonight's racing action. Larry, things getting underway a little bit early in Indianapolis. Maybe they don't have that daylight savings time thing or something, but they're on the pace lap already. So why don't we dispatch with the pleasantries and get down to the starting order?
Oh, come on, Greg. It's always pleasant. And yes, things are getting underway. Let's get to this starting order. I'll take the prototypes. You can have the GT4s. So starting with the prototypes, there it is. On the pole tonight is going to be Zach Ebert from Echelon Sim Sport. He'll be lined up alongside Michelle Squirk from Squirk Motorsport. Row 2, Josh Chinsky, SRT Esport, and Aaron Beaver from D2D Sim Racing. Third row will be Bobby Childs, the inside D2D, and of course, Jeff Jacobs from FCC Foundation and outside of row 3. Row 4, Jake Zito of HSR Phantom Racing, Pan Hiraday, Leadpaw Racing, and then row 5, Jimbo Pfeiffer. Sorry, no pre-race interview, Jimbo. Sector 5 Racing for Jimbo. Russ Ruddock from Flying Tortoise Motorsport. And then finally on row 6, Cayman Lackney from WMB New England.
All right, and we move over to the prototype starting on the pole for Orion Race Team. Leo Drago to the qual, and then on the outside of row number 1, it's going to be his teammate, Mike Dam. Eric Violette from D2D Sim Racing, racing in the Porsche this week, will start third with Taj Edwards from Orion starting in 4th. Travis Schwenke and Robert Schwenkler starting 5th and 6th, with Robert Hartley from Orion and Ken Copeland from The Wrong Stuff starting, was it 7th and 8th. Then we've got Jennifer McDonald starting in 9th with Dan Carrillo 10th, Brian Bennett, and Zach Mosley. Then we move over to Andre Wedderburn, who's our AM category pole sitter next to Chris Thorman, Dale Maxwell with Lucas Dragota, Michael Klimovich, and Stephen May. And then we've got Mariano Barrios in his Mustang for Friendly Neighborhood Racing, a little bit further back in the field than he wishes. He is going to start alongside David Klimovich, then John Casey, Ryan Haley, Greg Brockway. All right, let's go and pick up our LMP3 racers as they take the green flag, and they are underway, Larry, here from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And of course, we've seen many a time this 90-degree turn going into turn one with its raised apex curbing can sometimes be very dangerous as that grass comes up very quickly on the right-hand side. But Michelle Squerick jumping out to an early lead now with Zach Herbert, though, on the inside, taking back the point as our GT4 cars now get the green flag. The two Orion racers in their Porsches on the front row, now with Leo Dragota leading Mike Dam down into turn one, but Dam is going to have, at least momentarily, position as the track switches back to the left. But now Dragota, he takes over for this long, sweeping right-hand turn. They're going to make the run down to the kink and onto the Holman Straight.
Yeah, good clean starts all around. Great start there for Michelle Squerick to try and pressure Herbert for the lead there in the prototypes. And of course, the battle amongst the Orions is going to be a fun one to watch all night long. But now the prototypes are on their way back through the 12-13 maneuver here as they head onto the front straight. It should be a pretty good run down into one once again. There is a bit of draft off the back of these prototypes, all the air, the hole that they punch. So we'll see if Michelle can make a run on Zach going into one, or is it going to be Josh Chinsky popping out maybe all three of them in a train into turn one?
Yeah, indeed, Larry, here the rather long front straight here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway and the Holman Straight between that little chicane over at 5-6 going down into turn 7. Optimal places to utilize the draft, but this time Michelle Squerick not able to pull up alongside. And if anything, Zach Herbert might have made up a little bit of ground there on the front straight as they went into turn 1, and they come through that little chicane and head down towards the 90-degree left-hander at turn 7 as Josh Chinsky takes a look to the inside momentarily on Michelle Squerick and gets back in line.
Yeah, not going to be any opportunities there on that back straight. Going to have to probably set up a move somewhere else to try and make that pass. We'll catch up with the prototypes in a minute as we flash now to our GT4s. And in that fourth spot right there, in a train of them, is Dan Carrito shoved right in the middle of this group. He's got a Taj Edwards in front of him, and I think a Robert Hartley. So he's surrounded by the Orions.
Sandwich. Yeah, all in the Porsches here for Orion this weekend. So Taj Edwards currently running 7th in pro, Hartley 9th in pro with Dan Carrito in his Porsche, sandwiched right in between. We'll jump a little bit further back. Our AM leader, Andre Wedderburn in the Porsche. They're stuck behind a couple Mustangs. Mariano Barrios, who's running at the tail end of the pro field, 15th right now, and now Dale Maxwell. They're in the 111 Mustang. It jumps out to the lead in AM.
Yeah, watching this little pack here, those Mustangs do look and sound really good, if you ask me, but the Porsches just seem to be a bit quicker at times. But the Mustangs will be a tough pass. They definitely have some strong legs in a straight line.
Yeah, and so Dale Maxwell
there's a spin.
For Slopers. Oh, yes.
That's Barrios.
Yeah, Mariano Barrios going wide, and in addition to that, looks like we had another driver involved, and I think that was Michael Klimovich. I was just going to talk about the Slowbros racers, Larry, as Dale Maxwell, our AM leader in the Mustang, but both David and Michael Klimovich racing in the McLarens here, and there were some questions. This
might be self-induced here, so watch the replay of Barrios. So. I think he just kind of gets into this high G corner all by himself, and then we'll go right behind him, I think, is the other Porsche that decided he was going to match Barrios' spin.
Yeah, and I think that was Wedderburn that went around over there as he drops back all the way to 6th position. And that corner, I was just going to say, Larry, 90 degrees, very flat, and drivers, especially on first lap or second lap, getting into that throttle, with cars still very loose, a real difficult place. And here it is as we watch the prototypes come through here.
Yeah, that is definitely a tough corner on cold tires on this track. Everybody was in such a tight pack, no room for errors. We flash now to Jeff Jacobs to go on board with him, trying to chase Jake Zito for the 6th spot. And of course, Jimbo Pfeiffer right behind Jeff is there. You can see Jimbo.
Yeah,
right
running angry because we
shadow.
didn't interview him.
Yeah, he's probably upset. I'm sorry. If you're wondering why are we starting the race so quick, we don't really know. They just had the session was set up to start a little earlier than we would have expected. So we got on air as fast as we could, just enough to be able to see the pace lap and get things started.
I blame Stubby.
Yeah, we're going to blame Brian for everything tonight. We're not sure which Brian, but somebody named Brian probably was responsible. It's not Brian Bennett.
In solidarity with all
Let's
Brians.
make sure. Brian Bennett is not the one to blame here. He's in the race. It is not his fault. Different Brian.
Different Brian.
That train of 3 going into turn 1. Super tight there with Chinsky all over the back of Michelle Squirk, who really closed up on Zach Herbert as well as they went into turn 1.
Yeah, and they've opened up like a 3 1/4 second advantage now over Aaron Beaver, Bobby Childs, and the rest of the LMP3 field. Didn't take very long for them to do it either. But
now they're
just 4 laps.
Yeah, now they're catching the back of the GT4 field, and you can see right there in front of them they're going to start out with at least one of the BMWs. They'll have to try and make their way around. That's Ryan Haley. Trying to stay out of their way is Ryan Chinsky, getting awfully close to Ryan there at the exit.
Yeah, and a lot of good opportunities for the LMP3 racers to get around these GT4 cars. This is probably the worst place on the track to do it, as they are now following. That is the Mariano Barrios Mustang that we saw have troubles in that same section of the track just a few laps ago.
There's a lot more traffic to come for that threesome as we flash then forward to this battle continuing here as we begin looking at Carrito, Copeland, Taj Edwards for this little battle here of 6, 7, and 8, and then Robert Hartley in 9th.
Yeah, and of course, Larry, this track layout here, this infield road course at Indianapolis Motor Speedway, notable for its lack of camber in pretty much any corner, that it is just dead flat almost anywhere around. I can tell from experience that the asphalt itself is incredibly sticky here in the infield, helping out with mechanical grip somewhat. But
the only elevation on this track is literally the small little bit of banking you get on the front straight, which is like 2 degrees of banking or something.
And
is all there is.
And a tiny little 1 foot drop as you go into turn number 1.
That's it. That's all you get. Yeah. So not much here. You can see as they go around the oval between turns 1 and 2 of the oval is this turn 12, and that's the rest of the banking. As we take a look here at Michelle Squirk, right down the inside, late on the brakes, as it did look like Zach was going to be a little bit late. Zach gets pinched though.
Yeah, just got pinned in there behind one of the GT4 cars.
That's John Casey.
And great positioning both from Squirk as well as Josh Chinsky to keep Herbert locked to the outside, and every time he'd look to make a move down to the inside, he'd run up onto the back of another GT4 car.
Well, this is good for Squirk now because it looks like Chinsky's going to battle it out with Herbert. Herbert's not giving up the position. He's got the inside as they come around turn 3 into turn 4, so he's going to hold that position. Now he's going to be a bit aggressive on the back of Squirk as he's hoping to do to her what she did to him a lap or so ago, which is pinch behind some GT4 traffic. Michelle's got to get by a few of them here before they get down to turn 6. Or sorry, turn 7.
Turn 7, yeah. And now popping to the inside is Josh Chinsky.
Oh, we have cars in the grass out of the right as well. The whole scattering of them. That's Carrito, I think.
I think I was going to say that was either Dan Carrito. It might have been Cayman Lackney.
Yeah, and I see Jennifer McDonald out in the grass there. There's a few cars that were off driver's right there on the exit of 7 into the whole S's of 8 and 9.
Yeah, again, that turn 7, really deceptive. It is a 90-degree turn, and you really see drivers with a tendency to underslow going into that corner, and as sticky as the pavement. Oh, well, that might be a reason why.
He had some help. Yeah, it looks like Jennifer might have gotten a little bit late on the brakes, catches the back corner of Carrito's Porsche. So the two of them were off. Carrito had to find his way back on. Luckily, didn't cause any further issues. That does help Robert Hartley, as he's now, you can see, right in front of our leaders in the LMP3s.
So my comment about underslowing going into 17s or in the turn 7 sticks, Larry.
It does. You do have to do some slowing. It didn't look like Jennifer did anything on that, which is unusual for her. She's generally a mistake-free driver, so very unusual for her to have that issue. As now, again, the pack of LMP3s now behind Ken Copeland as they go through the backstraight chicane. It's getting spicy here as Ron Bortachinski staying on the outside. It's now they're going to go past. Is that Taj Edwards now on the inside as they head down to 7.
And it's going to be a long way for Chinsky to go, but he's going to try to make the move down to the inside once again. Not able to pull up alongside and hold off Squarick, who manages to get by. And Squarick now looks like she's caught behind the McLaren of, was that Robert Schwenkler, I think, in the...
May have been.
Yeah, I think so.
There were a couple of cars that spun back there. I think we're going to have to probably catch a replay on that to see who might have been involved.
Yeah, because Larry, there are only 2 LMP3 cars that came out of that incident.
Where is Zach Herbert?
With Chinsky, your new leader, but where is our pole sitter Herbert?
Oh, it looks like he might still be back at turn 10 as we keep an eye on him. He's following Josh Chinsky through these S's. They're all trying to get to the underside of that McLaren. And that's just what it is. As Herbert tries to avoid the spinning McLaren that went left, Herbert then gets stuck behind this train of cars, can't go anywhere. Talk about track position lost.
Oh,
he's trying to...
Oh!
And that may be the end of Zach Herbert's night.
And does anybody have the name of that bus? Oh, Larry!
And more as we go back live. Somebody went off driver's left. Was that Dragota?
I think that I think Michelle Squarick was involved with that. Right.
And that, Squarick right there. And that was Mike Dam in the 93. Is that Orion Porsche? So now one of your 2 leaders in the LMP3s gets into it with one of the leaders in GT4.
And it looks like she is damaged. Let's take a look as Josh Chinsky and Michelle Squarick
checks up. They go past, and
they go through the chicane.
Wow.
And Squarick and Dam get together, and Squarick goes to the wall.
Wow, it was really tight to go through there. Dam tried to leave room, probably just didn't leave enough. Squarick was trying to be aggressive to stick with Chinsky, and it just did not pay off. So now Josh Chinsky's two biggest rivals are shed, and now Chinsky's by himself as Squarick likely is going to be heading to the pits. Another view here as they go through that backstraight chicane. Squarick maybe even thought she was clear. She was not.
Yeah, and there, I think we just saw her going down the pit lane. There we go.
Yeah. And she is our championship leader in LMP3 coming into tonight. Having won the round 2 event at VIR and a couple of second places, she will not be finishing high tonight.
No, and as we look at the championship points in LMP3, Bobby Childs running second in the points to her, 15 points back, with Jimbo Pfeiffer running in third, another 5 points back from there. So if we take a look with our current leader, Josh Chinsky, he came into the evening having won last week.
He's got 2 wins.
Round.
Yeah, he won at Road America, the opener. He just didn't run VIR. So now he's got 2 wins. Eventually the drops will pay off. He's in a strong contention point here to maybe be in the championship lead once we get to drop part of the season with his 2 nearest rivals gone from this race. But for Bobby Childs and for Jimbo Pfeiffer, that things are going to be looking positive in their favor.
Tell you what, why don't we check back in with our GT4 racers? By the way, as we look at them, you can pick out the GT4 AM versus GT4 Pro drivers. The AM drivers, they do have those green number boards on the sides of their cars and on the hood, and the green windshield banners. The Pro drivers, it's Ricmotech red rather than the green. As we're on board right now watching our leader in GT4 AM, that is Dale Maxwell in the number 111 Slowbros Mustang, and being hunted down by his Slowbros teammate, David Klimovich.
Yeah, good little battle here between them since Wedderburn had his issues, but Wedderburn isn't far back. So we'll have to keep an eye on him. He is in the 4th spot, but he's still potentially in this thing when we get through a long 75-minute race tonight. Stephen May still sitting in that 3rd spot, though, in the BMW. So nothing's decided yet. We've seen how the traffic plays a part of this thing. These two slow bros have to keep themselves clean and tidy if they want to hang on to this thing. We're only 15. How are we only 15 minutes into the 75-minute race with all the action so far?
Imagine if this had started on time, Larry.
Oh, my goodness. We would just be getting all this excitement.
Yeah, so we're still trying to figure out the LMP3 racer that got together at the tail end of that shot of Herbert's off, as he had been trying to get the car back out on track, was completing his 3-point turn, got plowed by another LMP3 car, and it might have, with the yellow on the side, it might have been Jimbo Pfeiffer. So let's watch here. It's a long sequence here as he tries to get that car turned around.
Yeah,
but I think it was the yellow and silverish car, and I think that was Pfeiffer.
Well, unless Pfeiffer's got a teammate in the race.
Because I think we saw Jeff Jacobs go by just before the incident.
Yeah.
So, regardless.
The other one I'm wondering could be Cayman Lackney, who we had not seen and is
true.
Currently in the pits.
Yeah, but I think Lackney had been in the pits prior to that. No, that's not the. That's not.
Lackney may have had a different issue, but it is in the pits.
Can we there? Yep. So it is. I told you he was angry, Larry. Meanwhile, it looked like no damage was done at all to Jimbo's car.
Yeah.
He just continued on.
Pfeiffer got out of there scot-free as we catch back in with Lucas Dragotta.
And Lucas racing this season in the pro class after I think Lucas took the win in the championship in AM last season. And currently sitting 12th in pro.
He was a winner, I think. It might have been a GT3 AM that he won. Our GT4 AM season last season was Chuck Labano.
Oh, Chuck Labano last season. Okay.
Lucas was the championship winner the season before.
Got it. In season 7. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's
and just for the record, Zach Mosley, who Lucas is chasing for position on track right now, was the GT4 AM championship winner in season 6. So there you go.
As watch here, Eric Violet for D2D, the only one of the D2D racers running in the Porsche Cayman GT4 Club Sport. Wanted to make that change for round 2, right, Larry, at VIR, and had to wait until round 3 to abide.
They wanted to get out of the Aston Martin being the difficult car to drive, and they were still stuck with it. The VIR race was interesting if you were driving one of those Astons.
Yes, it was. Meanwhile, his teammates Chris Thorman, as well as Peyton, are still driving those other chassis.
As is Brian Bennett. As we've got Travis Schwenke and Eric Violet on track together again. They are awfully familiar with each other's company. Seems race after race, these two find each other somehow. This time, both in nearly matching Porsches. A lot of corner cut there for Schwenke.
Yeah. And so Violet was our fastest driver in GT4 during practice earlier this week. Managed to get down to a 131.3. And you can see most everybody, including he and Violet quite a bit underneath that already in race pace.
Yeah, there are a couple of laps already turned into the mid-30s for Jagoda, Dan, Violet, and the others. So much maybe quicker track conditions here in the race conditions than perhaps they had in qualifying. As we go on board with the one, the only Bobby Childs, we need to change that profile photo.
All I can think is 1980s wrestling.
He does look like he's talking to Mean Gene Oakland when he has that
does.
pose, doesn't he?
Well, you know, now we know where his interview skills came from. Yeah.
How's that for a reference for you? The chat's about to blow up. Bobby, though, running in that third spot. Teammate Aaron Beaver currently holding down second. There's Aaron. Working his way through some slow bros traffic there. Let's get Michael Klimovich just going around him as he heads onto the front straight and across the bricks. Greg, did you manage to kiss the bricks when you were at the Brickyard in your past?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I'm still
I was always told you have to actually win a race there to really kiss the bricks.
Yeah. Well, we knew that was never going to happen, Larry. So.
All right. Well, here's a little battle going on between Lucas Dragoda and Dan Carrito. And Dragoda, I think, had cut hard across the apex at the chicane and maybe trying to serve a bit of a penalty here slowly. I'm not sure. As Carrito gets caught behind a little bit of traffic. That was at Jake Zito, I think.
Yeah, that's the Zito LMP3 cliche.
No. The Porsche Mercedes battle is going to continue as they come around with this turn 10.
Big sweeper onto the very slight banking going into turn 12.
If you remember the original configuration that Formula One ran here in Indianapolis, this section of the track did not exist. They just ran right around a bit of a different infield chicane down there instead of the way we run 7, 8, and 9 now. But then they would run all the way from essentially current turn 11 all the way down to turn 1.
Well, at least 6 cars we did.
Well, that one year, yes, there were 6 of them. Good little run here, though, as Carrito is going to hold this position on Dragoda as they go through turn 1. And then you got Dale Maxwell.
Look how late on the brakes Dragoda was there.
Yeah. Then you got the AM lead right behind them with Maxwell Klimovich. I wonder who's actually faster at this stage. Is it Maxwell Klimovich or is it
that's what I was thinking.
Dragoda?
I think they might be a little bit quicker.
Maybe that battling right there between Dragoda and Carrito has kind of helped bring the AM lead right up to them. It's now, of course, they got some traffic getting in their way here.
Yeah, but great move there by Dale Maxwell to come underneath the LMP3 machine there to get by and put a little bit of a gap between he and David Klimovich. Although it looks like Klimovich now has cleared that car as well.
A couple of cars seem to be really happy with hitting curbs tonight. Some of the Porsches and certainly the Mercedes. I'm just not seeing a lot of Mustangs hitting those curbs, and I'm wondering if there's a difficult handling.
They just need somebody named Andrew Aquilante to be behind the wheel.
If you're familiar with SCCA championship level racing, Andrew Aquilante runs Mustangs in the touring classes, and he climbs the curbs.
Yes.
Absolutely clobbers them, and as he did at Indianapolis in 2017 and 2021.
Yeah, and interestingly, he was down at Charlotte for the Roval. They had the IMSA Mustang Challenge in conjunction with the NASCAR weekend. Was I guess last weekend, not this weekend that we've just finished, but the weekend before. And he posts up on social media, "I've got what you've all come for." and that was him in a Mustang Challenge car with 3 wheels in the air and 1 still on the pavement.
Nice. He was not at the runoffs this year, but Michelle Squarick was. So the connection there to our series here, what's in front of us, and Squarick right now might be wishing she was running an MX-5 car at Road America rather than sitting in the pits repairing her car tonight.
Yeah, Squarick running in class known as Spec MX-5 Challenge based on the NC Miata, or in iRacing speak, the old MX-5 Cup car.
Yeah. Well, does look like Eric Violet's got some Orion company now.
He's got a lot of company there. He's got both, he's got Schwenke, he's got Edwards, and he's got Robert Hartley. He's got all three Orion machines directly behind him.
And meanwhile, if we flash ahead about 7 seconds, you've got that Orion teammates now, as Mike Dam, who may have had that moment of tangling with Michelle Squarick, didn't seem to bother him as he's caught right back up to Jagoda for the lead in GT4 Pro.
All right, looks like Michelle Squarick has rejoined the action, Larry. Unfortunately for her, she is going to be joining six laps down.
Yeah. Well, you never know how things can go in an LMP3 race, so she's going to go out there and try to collect as many points, get the practice in, see what she can do here tonight as she's trying to work her way around one of our BMWs there in some traffic. That's Stephen May, in fact, actually.
Yeah, that's Stephen May. I want to say hi to Ricky Won't Say Yo in the chat. Actually, it's Ricky Won't Say, and then he just said yo. Seems counterproductive.
Look at this train. Is that contact now? That is.
Oh, yes.
Swanky got into the back of Violet, and that may have spun himself around and then gets bumped from his own teammates. So a little bit of a accordion effect going on there in turn 13.
Yeah, so Schwenke's going to end up losing, I think, 4 positions.
So you watch Schwenke. He gets a better run on off the exit of 12 and then just bumps into the back.
Yep, might have got into the back of Violet and then tapped in the rear by Taj Edwards.
Unless it was down in turn 1. But either way, it's not good for Schwenke as he comes back on right in front of Jennifer McDonald.
Meanwhile, Eric Violet still looks in his rearview mirror and all he sees is Orion cars.
There's a lot of them to go around. And of course, they've got a couple of D2Ds as his teammates, in fact, as the 2 LMP3s go on by with Aaron Beaver and Bobby Childs, and then Jake Zito, the third of those LMP3s, making his way through the traffic. So at least Eric's got some D2D teammates in addition to the Orions behind him. But he's got a Ken Copeland. He's got a Wrong Stuff driver in the mix.
So now Ricky won't say that he's an iRacer as well. And he also won't say that he sims in VR.
Just please, Ricky, don't lose my number. All right, there's your leader right now. There's been a change to it. It was Maxwell over Klimovich. Now Klimovich into the lead in GT4 AM. A lot of debris and gravel down there on the exit of 4. I'm hearing penalties being issued, Greg. That's never a good sign.
No, it isn't. It was the 151 car just picked up a penalty. That was Andre Wedderburn.
Yeah. And that
probably
is the
worse,
Wedderburn car.
Speaking of which,
He has flipped himself on the back straight, and
it's hard to drive through when you're on your roof.
So
unless you're
penalty.
that Lemons upside down Camaro thing.
Well, this may be all self-induced, as there's no one around, and there. Well,
Oh yeah,
that is a brake failure or a failure to brake.
I think that might be a failure to comply with the penalty, Larry.
Well, he's serving a penalty of sorts.
Yes. Although the fact that he was able to fly through the air backwards for about 200 feet, I thought was pretty good.
Impressive. Are we going to get the onboard now from Wedderburn?
Oh,
All right.
please. Oh, yes.
Notice the throttles, the revs. He does lift.
Whoa!
157 miles an hour
Oh, my God.
into the tire barrier. And
But what was the airspeed, Larry? How many knots?
all of them? All right, well, Taj Edwards is the next of the Orions who's going to try and make moves on Eric Violette, with Robert Hartley also closely in tow. Don't see much for moves, though, as he goes down into turn one. So we go on board now with the man leading this small train, Eric Violette. There we go. Now we get a view of that from Taj Edwards, the trailing of the two here. Taj running in fourth, Violette in third. Rob Hartley seems to just be content back there.
Well, maybe he's going to go to the wall now, too. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you actually do turn left right there. I'm gonna start calling Andre Wedderburn Andre 3000 because that's how many feet he flew through the air backwards. Hey now. Hey.
All right, well, Aaron Beaver looks like he was able to get through, and then I think that might have been Jimbo Pfeiffer trying to get through this short train as we're 30 minutes in, almost 33 minutes into our 75, which means we should be getting close to our pit window for most of our racers.
Yeah, indeed. We think the pit window is going to open up somewhere around lap 26 for the LMP3 racers. So about 2 laps or so, 2.5 laps from now, the GT4 cars, we should already be in the window, Larry. We estimated somewhere around lap 21 was the opening, and it should extend out to lap 28. Of course, some of our racers have already taken a pit stop, whether they meant to or not.
There's definitely been activity in the pits so far tonight.
I mean, we didn't have that 20-car pileup at turn 1 like I prognosticated before we went on the air, but close.
Does it count if we have 21 car pileups? No?
Yes. Or 52-car pickup. Yeah, I know. They're just flying tonight. If we'd had an extra 5 minutes before the race start, I could have worked on the material a little more.
Well, at some point in this train, I got to figure either Taj Edwards or Robert Hartley is going to try and dive into the pits and do a bit of an undercut to get around Eric Violette.
Yeah.
Because they both look like they might be able to be faster. The only reason to stay back here might be to save some fuel.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, that they should be doing a good amount of fuel savings down the 2 straightaways. That might be advantageous for them to actually go and maybe let Violet peel off and then
Ken Copeland's doing it.
Yeah,
Copeland's deciding he's had enough. He's going to come in and try to make something switch up here. Meanwhile, our leaders in class, Leo Dragota, Mike Dam, they just continue to pull away from the rest of the train. They're 10 seconds up on that battle for second that was led by Eric Violette.
Now, it looked like Copeland, as he put the car up in the air, taking some tires. I would think, Larry, that he's probably only going to take left side tires, given how many right-hand sweepers you've got here. But also because of the length of the pit lane, it really could increase your pit time considerably here. Matter of fact, one of the drivers was checking out the times for us this week and said that the pit delta was 62 seconds if you just took fuel, and if you took 4 tires, it could be almost 10 seconds long.
Wow. Yeah, that's significant. That may also be why you're seeing the pace of Eric Violette doing what he's doing. He's got track position on the rest of his rivals there, including these Orion drivers, Taj Edwards and Rob Hartley, but his pace seems to be maybe less than he was doing in terms of pushing. He's certainly getting outpaced by Jagoda and Dam, and part of that might be a strategy to save his tires without having to take that 10-second extra stop to replace them when he does come in.
And Ryan Haley is in the pits now in his BMW. Pits in from, I believe, 5th in AM. One of our first GT4 drivers. Dale Maxwell now pitting in from 2nd in AM with David Klimovich, your leader.
Let's see if the one of the slow bros decides to change his tires. We have seen in the past that the Mustangs going through tires quickly, so we'll see if that maybe plays a part in their decision to change tires in this race. Or like you said, perhaps even if they are just left side tires with all the right-hand turns.
All right, Jeff Jacobs now on the pit lane, the first of our LMP3 racers. And here's our leader, Josh Chinsky, who now has, and certainly helped quite a bit by his 2 strongest competitors, having issues, has almost a 25-second advantage now over the rest of the LMP3 field, and a good amount of open track ahead of him for the SRT eSport driver.
Yeah, he's in a comfortable position now with his rivals having had issues, I should say, as bad luck befell them. And right now for Chinsky, he's in a really good position. Just has to keep his nose clean, take his time around some of this traffic like he does there, around John Casey. That's a smart move there for Chinsky, as it looks like Aaron Beaver, who is running 2nd in LMP3, has come in for his pit stop. There he is, the D2D driver. And we'll keep our eyes on Bobby Childs and Jake Zito as they are together on the track. Battling now for 2nd, or 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, with Aaron Beaver in the pits. There's a little collision. That's not going to be good for Bobby. That was Chris Thorman. That's his teammate that was parked there. Oh, no.
Door to door, D2D violence, and Thorman's now going to take the tow back to the pits.
Well, watch Thorman up ahead. I believe he spins, and Bobby just was left with nowhere to go. And we were talking earlier, that's what we're talking about with the Aston Martin struggling in some of these high G corners. That's exactly it. It was the oak tree corner at VIR.
Yeah.
And tonight it's turn 4.
And Larry, it was clear there. You said that he didn't have that Childs didn't really have anywhere to go. He committed rather early to getting around the 2 GT4 cars that were just ahead of him and moved to the inside. You'll see the other 2 cars come underneath the Aston Martin, but Bobby Childs had already moved to the left slightly, just again with really he might have been able to cut back underneath, but it would have probably impacted his line through there, as we now have Josh Chinsky in the pit lane and Bobby Childs coming down the pit lane. He's managed to crawl back around, and he's going to take service, and I'm sure for probably more than just fuel.
Well, what that does is allows Jake Zito to take, at least temporarily, the race lead with Chinsky in the pits and Bobby having had his own bad issues there. So Zito now, at least for the moment, into the top spot. We'll see what it looks like when He comes in for his pits. Chinsky should resume the lead. The question then will be is where will Aaron Beaver be, as Aaron has already made his stop? Will he come out in front of Zito or not? There is Aaron Beaver. Should be going past Jimbo Pfeiffer.
Should be Pfeiffer and, of course, Bobby Child. So there you go. Now sitting about, about 30 seconds back from Josh Chinsky in third.
Also in the pits, Eric Violette. We saw him leading that train of Porsches, GT4s. He's going to go ahead and pit his D2D entry, see where he can end up. We'll keep our eye on the rest of those D2Ds.
And indeed, Larry, all the Orion teammates behind him stayed out on track. Maybe with a little bit of clean air, try to make up a little bit of ground that way.
That twosome right there, which would be Taj Edwards and Robert Hartley. They were the ones running in that fourth and fifth spot. Now, of course, moving up to third and fourth. See where they end up and when they come in for the stop. Nice use of the curves there for Robert Hartley. The second of this little twosome train of teammates. So now it is a 1, 2, 3, 4 in GT4 for the Orion team, at least temporarily.
All right, David Klimovich coming down is in the pit box already. Michael Klimovich coming in now. We'll pull right ahead of him, and we have Dan Carrillo in the pits as well.
David Klimovich has come in on 3 straight wins in the GT4 AM category. Of course, that puts him in the lead in the points, 3 for 3. Wedderburn was his nearest rival, and we know what happened to Andre. As there it is, Violet comes out right next to Ken Copeland. Violet's going to hold that position.
And we'll see what he can do on the cold or cold-ish tires. Copeland might have an advantage here, although he's got much older tires at this point.
Copeland did stop early. We were wondering what was going to happen to him. Well, now we wonder where these two will end up next to when Taj Edwards and Robert Hartley make their stop, probably right about now. As Robert Hartley's in, and that's a spin. Around goes Eric Violette, and he won't be happy about that.
No, he will not. And didn't appear to be any kind of contact between he and Ken Copeland. Copeland did very well to avoid the car. And look at this, just coming out on track. And that is David Klimovich. And Klimovich having some problems on the outlap.
A couple of replays to catch here. This is the Eric Violette going into turn 7 here. And he just does it on his own. That could be the cold tires maybe that you were talking about, that we expected Copeland's tires to be a little bit warmer. Violette's not so warm, self-induced as David Klimovich.
You know, and I'm wondering, Larry, as we watched, we'll see what happened to David Klimovich here as he comes down in the turn tires. 1. He
coming out right out of the pits.
Yep.
And that's your points leader in AM, struggling here on his outlap after his stop. Now he's got all the work. He's lost 14 seconds to teammate Dale Maxwell in that Mustang.
All right, and meanwhile, Larry, as that was going on, a whole slew of our pro drivers came down the pit lane. Leo Dragotta and Mike Dam pitted in. It looks like Travis Schwenke pitted in as well. And Taj Edwards just now coming down the pit lane. And so at least temporarily, it's moved Stephen May up to the lead in AM, but likely when he brings his BMW onto the front straight and across the yard of bricks, he will be your GT4 leader.
No, he won't, because he's going to go to the pits, and he won't make it that brick run until someone else go past him. But what this will do is it'll put the race lead back in the hands of Leo Dragotta. The question is, how far ahead is he over Mike Dam? So Dragotta will take the lead back. There's Mike Dam just in the background there of that shot. And then we talk about where is Taj Edwards and Robert Hartley relative to Ken Copeland. Well, here comes Copeland. There's Edwards. Is he on cold tires? What's his exit of 1 going to look like?
better than the Klimovich exit, and he comes out ahead of Ken Copeland as Copeland was just tipping down into turn 1 as Taja Edwards was heading into 2.
Good run there for Edwards, having been right behind Eric Violet for so long. But this is Robert Hartley, who may be a little bit back, struggling a little bit on his pit stop.
Yeah, let's take a look. I think Hartley had some challenges here.
Well, remember, Hartley and Edwards were together before the pit stop started.
Right.
Hartley now on his out lap at the end of it does this.
Yeah, and that's over at as they come off of the area between IndyCar turn 1 and turn 2 over at turn 12 on the road course.
Hartley continuing to struggle as we're actually back to live here. Hartley unable to get it wound down efficiently going into turn 1. He's not going to use all the curbs to try and make it up. He's going to drop right now. Down the order a little bit as we're back to David
with more problems, Larry.
Yes, he's still trying to catch up to teammate Maxwell. Klimovich having a bit of a rough go here in the second half of this race. All right, well, in the prototypes, Josh Chinsky is taking the lead back. That means this is the battle for second. There's Chinsky, the battle for Aaron Beaver and Jake Zito. Right there is the battle for second with the issues we had seen to Bobby Childs. That means the battle for second is heating up here with Aaron Beaver and Jake Zito.
All right, well, Larry, tell you what, we're heading up right towards the top of the hour, and with our slightly earlier stop, we do have, about a half hour remaining in tonight's race. Am I doing the math correctly? Yeah, a little bit less than a half hour. So let's do this. Let's take our break. When we come back, we'll take racers all the way to the checkered flags. It looks like everybody's come in for their pit stops already. You're watching the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge. It's round number 4 from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Stay with us.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
Welcome back to the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis. It's the 4th round of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. I'm Greg Ginsburg, along with Larry Lefty McLeod. And Larry, catching up a little bit on Bobby Child's conversations with Stubby in the chat, and it looks like not much really bad came out of that hit that he had coming out of the chicane that it just delayed his in-lap by about 30 seconds. That he was planning on pitting in as it was. Unfortunately, with all the damage he incurred, he never had an outlap.
That, and apparently his spotter didn't tell him there was anything in his way until after he hit the thing in his way, and that's
darn you,
a good
Stubby.
sign.
Blame Stubby. Hashtag
All right,
blame
well,
Stubby.
All this activity has led to right back where we started from, which is Travis Schwenke chasing down Eric Violette
Yes.
for the 4th spot in GT4 Pro, as Taj Edwards may be having issues.
Yeah, so
Taj
Edwards
was in
now
that
falling
spot.
back in the 7th position as both Schwenke and Schwenkler.
Wonder if he's
Get
having a
by.
connection issues there, unfortunately, for Taj. Maybe he's also a victim of the nor'easter, as we were just talking about that in the commercial break.
Oh, Bobby Childs is trying to redirect the anger away from Stubby. He says, blame Hans.
All right, well, what we had seen when this battle was going earlier was Schwenke right up on the back of Violette as they went through turn 13. Schwenke tapped him, and Schwenke himself then spun. Well, with the issues later on happening to Violette on his own spin through 7, that's bringing these two back together for what's expected to be a pretty tight little battle to the end, with Robert Schwenkler, who's been involved with a series of spins himself tonight,
Yes.
going to be in the mix. And somehow this is the battle for 4th.
Yeah, and somehow Ken Copeland, by staying clean, has worked himself into a podium paying position.
And the commentator's curse is about to strike. You could just smell it.
Good luck, Ken. We're all staying silent because we think that he's coming up on that point. We'll just go, ooh.
Well, Ken right now sitting in that solid 3rd spot. Mike Dam unable to launch a challenge back at young Leo Jagoda, so the top 2 are not really battling much right now. But in the AM category, because of the issues with David Klimovich has struggled with, Dale Maxwell, the other slow bro, the one not named Klimovich, has got himself a 15-second lead over the 2 that are named Klimovich.
Hey, let's jump up. I'd like to take a look if we can at this battle for 2nd in LMP3 with Aaron Beaver and Jake Zito. Because Zito's been, I think, starting to close things up a little bit. That last lap through, I think he lost maybe a second or so. So might have had some problems there, but well, maybe it's more than just a lap.
Well, we'll keep an eye on it anyway. They're about 2
Yeah.
seconds apart, as you can see right there. Jake Zito not too far back. Zito had been quicker before, so might just be having a bit of a lap or 2 here where he's struggling, but he'll close it up. Still another 20-some-odd minutes of racing to go. Oh, the LP3s do sound really good, don't they?
Yes, they do. It's going to go straight, Larry. No.
Nope. No penalty to serve here for Jake Zito. He'll make that turn, no problem.
Yeah, it'd still be. I'd love to know what actually happened if Wedderburn had a mechanical failure or just red mist.
I could suspect it might have been deliberate, considering he was facing a penalty anyway.
Yeah.
But that'll be for Andre to figure that out in a future dates.
I mean, if he'd hit the wall like another 5 miles an hour faster, he might have ended up on pit lane.
All right, well,
As we
there
jump
is
on.
your AM leader, Dale Maxwell. But it's behind Robert Hartley, actually.
Yeah, Hartley just got past the Mustang. They're going into turn 12.
After Hartley's issues with his outlap or inlap. As they go underneath Ryan Haley, heading up to turn 12. Nice solid commitment to the inside there for Hartley. Maxwell smart, knowing that's not his race. His race is 17 seconds behind him, with his teammates now sitting second and third. Dale just needs to stay ahead of them.
Yeah, it looked like for a moment there, Dale was perhaps contemplating attempting an over-under and racing Hartley up to turn 13, but thought a little better of it, I think, and just settled in behind. Jennifer McDonald's just now leaving the pit lane, heading back out into traffic. She is going to rejoin 12th in Pro. And that was her second pit stop running.
Yeah, she's a couple laps down from these battles that we see here. This, of course, the battle for fourth. They're a couple laps ahead of where Jennifer's at. It's heating up, and look at Schwenke going to try and grab a little bit of draft off the back of Jake Zito. Nothing else. He's hoping that Zito gets in front of Violet, and he looks like he did. Violet's progress interrupted just a little bit as he goes through the S's. Unfortunately for Schwenke, not able to do anything with it.
Yeah, it really looked like Violet. He was just waiting and waiting for Zito to turn in.
Yeah.
And it just never came, and he wanted to slot in behind the Ligier, and by the time he turned in, he was too far alongside the LMP3, could not tuck underneath, and and Schwenke was there right to try and take advantage of it.
And what I'm seeing, I think, is that the GT4s aren't really any slower. If anything, maybe a little bit quicker at the apex or from brake to apex than the LMP3s, and you're just seeing those. LMP3 is, of course, much faster in a straight line, and maybe the higher speed corners with some downforce, but where the downforce doesn't matter, turns 4, turn 7, turn 10, that's where you're seeing the GT4 struggle a little bit side by side with the LMP3s, and they're kind of getting each other's way, just like we saw there. But luckily for Violet, he was able to maintain position ahead of Schwenke, holding on to that fourth spot. Inside of 20 minutes to go. Let's see if Schwenke can launch a charge here to get back up to Violet and maybe get himself in position to take a position. He has not been able to make a pass either before or now. Any point during this race with Eric Violet. There's a puff of smoke there in the background. Wondering who that was from.
That might have been Jake Zito. Let's take a look, see what happened. I mean, we saw where he was very slow into 7 on the prior lap.
He gets to 7 okay here.
Yeah.
And 8. 9, however, that's a big lockup. Luckily, iRacing doesn't model flat tire or flat spots on tires, but he does manage to recover. At some point, they're going to add the modeling for flat spots.
As we watch Zito now, and it looked like Zito. He kind of got behind that whole complex. He turned in a little bit too early on the first the left-hander at 7, and just kept turning in early. And as he fed in throttle, the rear end just kind of walked around. And again, that is one of the slowest complexes on the track, and where the wing and the aero just doesn't really do much for you.
Somebody who's doing quite well tonight is Josh Chinsky, with his lead now almost 40 seconds over Aaron Beaver. And about lapping half the field at this point is Josh Chinsky. I think only the front 5 LP3s are on the lead lap. Steady as it can be.
through the field to see what else we might have. Maybe we check back in with Violet and Schwenke.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Jeff Jacobs coming through, and let's see, because Jacobs might be right alongside Violet as they come down in the 1, and that'll definitely be something that Travis Schwenke would like to see.
Well done there for Jacobs to get on by, but also for Violet to not get disrupted by that. It easily could have been an opportunity there for Schwenke, but well driven there, well executed for Violet. We'll see at some point. Violet's really on a pretty good pace lately, running in the low to mid 31s, lap after lap. Schwenkler, neither one of those two can mount a charge here. And there you can see lap by lap, it's a tenth or two in favor of Eric Violet. We've covered the GT4 Pro standings coming into tonight.
Yeah, I don't think we've talked any about them. So coming into the night, Larry, it was our pole sitter tonight, Leo Dragota, who is coming off his win at Suzuka, where it was Dragota, then Copeland, Dragota, then Violet, who finished second, and Copeland third. But in the point standings after 3 rounds, it is Dragota, Copeland, and Violet. And again, this is before any drops have been figured in. I think starting next week, we'll have that single drop figured into the standings as we go forward. Brian Bennett from Sector 5 sitting a little bit more than 10 points with 13 points off the top 3 right now, with Carrillo and Lucas Dragota running down in 6th.
And Mike Dam will be one of those that definitely benefits once he gets the drops. He did have a 10th place finish at VIR in the second round. So we'll see what he can do if he can vault himself up there once we get to the drop part of this season. He just can't afford to have a bad race. So a night like tonight, where he's running in the second spot, could be a very strong haul of points for Mike Dam.
Yeah. All right, let's as long as we've got a little time, let's take a look at the AM point standings as well, where David Klimovich, who won 2 weeks ago at Suzuka, currently your points leader with 129 points, and that's 27 clear of Speed Labs' Andre Wedderburn, who finished third at Suzuka. Unfortunately, not in line for a podium finish here this evening, as it doesn't look like he's in line for any finish this evening. Stephen May, who finished second at Suzuka, sitting all the way back in 7th place, seventh in the point standings currently.
GT4 race leader Leo Dragota. It's a little bit 2 seconds clear of Mike Dam. You can see they're continuing to open up that lead over the last number of laps. On a pretty good pace at this point. Both of these two running right there in that 31.0s to 31.3s pretty much every lap. Impressive when you're already leading the race and your nearest challenge is your teammates. So done quite well here for young Leo, who's trying to open up that championship lead in the points, trying to win his 3rd straight race. After a 2nd place at Road America, he's grabbed wins at VIR and at Suzuka. So he's trying to make it now 3 in a row.
All right, Michelle Squarick coming down the pit lane again. Didn't hear if she was if she had a penalty to serve. But,
it's possible that after the repair she filled up and then
now
just
she
waited
needs
until
fuel.
now. Yeah. Very, very likely. And that's, of course, our championship leader in the LMP3, so she's going to for her, hopefully this becomes her drop, and then she can get back on form here in 2 weeks. And we head to Mexico City. New track next time out for the series. New track for Ricmotech at Mexico City.
That's right. Yeah, I'll tell you what, Larry, let's take a look at what we've got coming up. As you mentioned, in 2 weeks, we're going to be at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, the home of the Mexico City Grand Prix. That's for a 60-minute race on the schedule. And actually the following week, I think we're going to be back there for the World Challenge as well, where the GT3, LMP2, and GTP racers will be running. But first, next Monday night, the World Challenge is going to be at Portimao at the Algarve International Circuit in Portugal.
A couple of newer circuits coming up on the calendar here in the Ricmotech Monday nights. Should be a good time. I have not driven any laps yet at the Mexico City track. I'll have to turn a few of them in the next few weeks to get ready for that. I'm hoping that they've modeled the airplanes landing at the nearby airport very much like they do at the Daytona modeling. Every once in a while I see a plane land in the background there. I got to figure that it's the same thing in Mexico City, considering the airport's like a mile away. You can actually, when you land in Mexico City, you can easily see that park, and you can see the track right on that
baseball stadium,
approach.
or remains of the baseball stadium.
Yeah. Well, Mike Dam has closed it to under 2 seconds. And there's a slow bro between them, but I think that's David Klimovich, currently running second in the AM category. I think that's him. Yep, that's number 21,
Yeah,
David.
Carmen in the chat cheering these slow bros on. But yeah, as you said, Mike Dam here as we get under 15 minutes now, actually under 10 minutes, starting to tighten things up a little bit.
And honestly, if you're cheering the slow bros, they right now are sitting 1, 2, 3 in the AM category. That's a strong showing for Team Slow Bro. Let's see if Mike Dam can sniff the back of some draft here behind Mr. Klimovich and maybe move a little bit closer to his rival, his teammate, Leo Dragotta.
So is Dale Maxwell like an honorary member of the Klim Club, or?
So he's the adopted Klimovich?
Yes.
All right, well, there he is, the Dale Maxwell.
And Dale's got about
15
15 seconds on both David and Michael.
And while Mike Dam looks like he had just made his way around David Klimovich, who was between Leo Dragotta and Mike Dam. And here's Eric Violette under pressure now. Ken Copeland.
And didn't we say that Copeland was having a pretty easy night? But
what
Violet
has happened
now,
with Copeland?
Yeah, as Violet goes into a podium-paying position.
So far, let's see how this goes. There's a replay. I don't know how
draft.
they got back here, but we certainly can see here.
I was going to say, I'd love to know what led to Violet getting right back up to Ken Copeland, because there was a huge...
I'm guessing it's an issue with Copeland somehow, because Copeland was several seconds ahead of this battle for fourth, and now he finds himself in fourth. We'll have to see if there's a replay. There you go. It's just been Copeland off pace. Wonder if there was a fuel issue.
Yeah.
Or did he not take tires and everybody else did? Yeah. His pit stop time doesn't seem to be that much difference. A little bit quicker than everybody else by maybe 2-3 seconds, but no 10 seconds. Well, now the question is, can Travis Schwenke do to Copeland what Eric Violette just did?
Yeah. And so interestingly, Larry, Violette was talking about during testing during the week. He said if you tried to go a race distance, I think he's out of. Yeah, I think he's just out of fuel.
Or he's having a sim rig issue.
Maybe
it's showing itself up under braking. He doesn't want to be stuck going on the brakes in front of one of the other fast GT4 cars. You can see
what
him
I was going to say
there.
was Violet was saying that if, at least with the Porsche is pretty hard on the rear tires here.
Yeah.
And if he didn't take tires at the pit stop, he was losing about a half second per lap just trying to keep the rears underneath him.
Yeah, that little check there, though,
some similar issues.
That little check up there in the front straight for Ken Copeland tells me there's something else going on tonight. You wouldn't do that if you're trying to hold position, if it's just tires and you're just slow in certain corners.
Yeah, you try and defend for 6 minutes. And we've seen him.
Before. He's a fantastic defender of track position. This is a track you can get away with that, but something's definitely going on with him, and I wonder if it is sim rig related for Ken Copeland.
Have we recommended Ricmotech to him lately?
I mean, that's where I would go. Squirk getting around who is now Eric Violette in the third position, and Schwenke now 2 seconds back with 5 minutes to go.
5 minutes.
Copeland also closing up on Travis Schwenke for the fourth spot. Well, of course, Schwenke pulling away. Schwenkler is the one I'm wondering. How far back is Robert Schwenkel? He was behind Schwenke, not that far back. There's Copeland. Yeah. Another 3.5 seconds to Robert Schwenkler. So it's the wrong stuff team struggling a little bit here late in this race. So Russ Ruddock's going to get down the inside in his LMP3. Clear track in front of Leo Dragota. It doesn't look like he's got anything to challenge him. Mike Dam may not be able to get much closer. He's at that 1.8 mark and he's been there for several laps. I don't know that he's going to be able to make any ground now with probably only 2 laps to go. Yeah. For Leo, he just wants to be clean.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless Dragota gets held up in the S's over here, coming down 7, 8, 9. But it looks like
Jimbo's trying to make sure he gets nowhere near him.
By. Yeah,
he waited behind Dragota till they got through the chicane at 5-6 and stayed very far left. Does not want to at all interrupt that battle. There is Chinsky now. Probably 2 laps to go for Chinsky as he crosses the bricks with about 2.5 minutes left.
Right now, the only LMP3 racers that are staying down with lightning fuel loads, Larry, in the 22s, Josh Chinsky and Aaron Beaver, but Beaver sitting almost 40 seconds in arrears now.
The 9th place in GT4 Pro is definitely under challenge now. Brian Bennett in that 71, the Aston Martin of all things, challenging Robert Hartley for the 9th position in Pro. Have not heard much from Bennett tonight. That's that Aston Martin that has just been so diabolical this season, and Bennett really sticking with it.
I'm sure he's ruining the day he switched over from the Cayman after last season.
Yeah, maybe he still thinks he can make it work. I mean, real life, give the choice to drive an Aston Martin, I'm certainly not going to turn it down.
Yeah. But us lowly pay drivers, Larry.
And there is Barney in the air with the white flag. 1 lap to go for Josh Chinsky and everybody else as they cross the stripe. So for Chinsky, he's trying to make this 3 wins in his first 3 races of the year, even though we're in round 4. He did skip 1 round earlier this season. And with drops, that would put him in the championship lead. I don't know if we're going to see the drops yet, or if Michelle Squirk's point totals will still be ahead.
Well, it certainly didn't help her
No.
Her standing is she is going to finish 9th in LMP3 this evening. So clearly at this point going to be her one drop as well.
And unfortunately for Zach Herbert, who started tonight on the pole, he only had run one previous round at VIR. He had the other 2 DNSs and really had good showing up until the traffic issues ended up following him as well. So it's been good luck in the way of Josh Shinsky, but not so much for the other 2 started tonight on the front row.
All right, so Josh Chinsky coming through final corners here through turn 13. Going to make the right and rejoin the oval.
It's going to try and
use the draft off Jeff Jacobs, but a short run to the yard of bricks and taking the win tonight at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in LMP3. It's Josh Chinsky from SRT Esport.
A pretty good run tonight for Aaron Beaver as well. He's just got to finish this lap out and finish a good, strong podium position here in second spot. If he can hang on to it, got a nice, easy margin over Jake Zito at this point. 2 more corners to go for the D2D driver, Aaron Beaver. With Bobby in the chat, cheering him on. There you go.
He's going to come across the line, finishing in second for D2D Sim Racing as Leo Dragota comes out of the final corner onto the front straight across the yard of bricks. Takes your GT4 win here in round number 4. And just behind him, it is Dale Maxwell for Slow Bros Racing. He's your GT4 AM winner.
Yeah, great win there for the Slow Bro driver, Dale Maxwell, here in GT4 AM, knocking down his teammate, David Klimovich. And well driven for all 3 of the Slow Bro drivers who are going to sweep the podium tonight.
That's it. And on the Orion side, Mike Dam comes across the line. And there you go. There's your 3rd place finisher in AM. That's Michael Klimovich, who's going to finish behind brother David. And in Pro, taking the final spot on the podium this evening, it is Eric Violette from D2D Sim Racing. He'll finish 3rd.
Yeah, who would have thought he'd end up on the podium after having the contacts and spins and all the things that he had happen tonight. So good, strong perseverance there for Eric Violette to come home on the podium.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a few moments. And when we do return, Larry, we're going to talk to some of our, probably all of our race winners here tonight across our 3 classes, where we've just seen round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge here on Apex Racing TV. Stay with us.
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. Whether you're just looking to have fun, train for race day, or become a serious esports competitor, Ricmotech has you covered. Hundreds of name brand parts. Support from experts that love sim racing. Trusted by the pros. There's only one place to go, Ricmotech.com.
The SCCA Foundation is a 501c3 organization serving as the charitable arm of the Sports Car Club of America. One of the programs partially funded by the foundation is the SCCA Academy, an online learning management system used to keep real-life racing track officials up to date on the highest standards of race safety and officiating. Through this program, the SCCA Foundation is supporting the future of the best trained corner workers and event officials in motorsport. You can support these efforts at www.sccafoundation.org. The search is over. The most comprehensive league scoring solution is here, with the ability for multi-level championships, custom incident tracking, post-race time penalties, support for heats, drop weeks display, multi-car team scoring, advanced web widgets, rookie championships, a custom paint system, and load those results in seconds. Visit extremescoring.info today.
Welcome back, everybody, to Indianapolis and the racing capital of the world, Indianapolis Motor Speedway, where you've just seen round number 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech miniMite Sports Car Challenge. Gosh, by the time I finish saying that, it's almost round 5. Let's take a look at our race finish in LMP3 for SRT Esports. Josh Chinsky takes the win over D2D's Aaron Beaver. Jake Zito from HSR Phantom Racing will come home in 3rd. Those 3, the only ones on the lead. Oh, no, I take that back. Jeff Jacobs was on the lead lap as well. Over in GT4, Leo Dragota takes the win in Pro with his teammate Mike Dam finishing 2nd and finishing 3rd for D2D Sim Racing, Eric Violette. And then in GT4 AM, it was Dale Maxwell leading an all slow bros podium. Dale Maxwell in his Ford Mustang, then David and Michael Klimovich racing their McLaren. Steve May from Mayforce Racing finishing a lap down just off the podium. All right, Larry, let's take a look, see if we've got some folks waiting to speak to you, and we do. Let's bring in SRT Esports, Josh Chinsky, our winner tonight in LMP3.
All right, your winner tonight in LMP3 and the overall race, dominant in fact, Josh Chinsky. But Josh, it didn't start out that way. You had quite a battle in the early stages with Zach and with Michelle. Walk me through what went on in those 2 laps that just all you guys hit that traffic, I guess, for the other guys at the wrong time.
Yeah, I mean, first off, shout out to Michelle and Zach. That was an awesome race for the start of it, of when we had that battling. I don't know what happened in regards to my prep. I was actually extremely confident in my setup coming in here, and then all of a sudden the practice session pre-race, it just felt completely different than anything else I'd ever practiced with. I was not confident at all going into this race, but yeah, it was just catching the back end of that traffic. It looked like there were a lot of, I mean, I hate to say it, but really bad rejoins. The first one was we were catching up on traffic, and Michelle and myself were trying to take the inside line there, coming out of the S's onto 10, and a poor rejoin blocked our inside line at the last second. So she and I had to slam on the brakes, and I think that's what caught Zach out. And then I'm not exactly sure what happened to Michelle. I know she took the I know she took the ramp curb, as what I like to call it, there on 6, but I don't know how it led to that. Overall, just lady luck was on my side today, because I don't think if they were able to stay clean, I would have had anything for them in the second half.
Yeah, that was turning into a bit of a barn burner. There had the 2 of them been able to stay clean, but the traffic definitely played a part of it tonight. But once everything kind of cleared up, you were able to kind of pick and choose your traffic. Any issues beyond that, or at that point, was it just put it into that coasting gear and get it home?
Yeah, it was pretty much just put it into the coast. I mean, after everything that happened with Michelle and Zach, I was super weary of traffic, and so I was like, you know what? I'm not even going to put any kind of risk into any of these passes. I'm just going to keep it safe, clean the rest of the race. I knew I had, at that point, I think I had like a 10-second gap to Aaron behind, so I was like, I'm just going to get the car into pit road all in one piece.
Yeah, smart move. Secure the victory, as you well deserved there to get the win tonight. 3 wins in 4 rounds. I think the only one round you didn't win, you weren't in. But certainly the challenges are there. The other drivers are out there. They just have to get to the finish, and you're doing a wonderful job of that for sure. But I know wins are never easy, and I know you've got a team and some other folks you want to give a mention to here while you can.
Oh, absolutely. First off, shout out to my setup maker, John. Dude, you're freaking fantastic. All the time that you put into the practice sessions with me, trying to put sets together. I couldn't have some of these wins without your help, because I know I've said it before. I can't stand most of the setup shops sets for the LMP3. SRT, appreciate everything that you guys have done for me and continue to do for me. I wouldn't be the racer I am today without you guys constantly pushing me to be where I am. Shout out to my mom, my dad for watching. I appreciate all the support. It means the world to me to have you guys by my side while I race. And then a couple of last shout outs. Shout out to Penn Station East Coast Subs and Lifestyle Integrations for the sponsorship on this LMP3 car. You guys allow me to invest the money and time into as much practice as I need. And then Apex Racing TV, appreciate you guys for the broadcast, and then XMS for hosting a fantastic league. I can't wait to watch this one back.
It's definitely a good one, and victory is always going to be fun to watch the replays of. But tonight, well done for the SOT Esports. Josh Chinsky taking the win at LMP3.
Thanks, Larry.
All right, let's move over from our LMP3 winner to our GT4 AM winner tonight. He loves Moza. Driving for Slow Bros Racing and driving the number 111 Ford Mustang, Dale Maxwell.
All right, it is a Slow Bros 1, 2, 3, but at the front of the slowest of the Slow Bros? No, you're fastest of the Slow Bros. It's Dale Maxwell getting the win. And Dale, great run tonight. We just keep talking about the team here because I know that's where you're going to go. Let's just go there. Awesome job by the whole team. Tell me a little bit about what's going on there with the rest of the crew.
The plan was just to get David up front, to keep him high in points, keep him in the lead, honestly. And then he started pulling away from me about halfway through the race before the first pit stop, and unfortunately he spun out coming out of the pits, I think, which set him back a little bit. So I just tried to keep a steady pace, hopefully thinking he could maybe catch a draft again and get back up there with us, but we ended up all podiuming, so I mean, win.
Yeah, and that's really how it goes. It was unfortunate to see that spin. I think he was maybe on cold tires or something just coming out of the pits. It ended up costing him all that track position. But you guys actually had a pretty good battle before that. Was part of that you just sticking with him to make sure he was in front of you, or was the Mustang just feeling that good tonight?
It was feeling pretty good. I don't normally like making last minute changes, but I softened up the suspension a little bit, which helped it out a lot. Kept my foot off the skinny pedal, tried to save the tires, and we just tried to conserve fuel, keep a steady pace, and not try and dig too hard too fast.
Well, it seemed to work really well as the car looked even good right up until the checker flag there. So well done there, the whole team. And even David getting a second is good for him. He's still going to do well in points with a second place finish here. Should still be in the lead of the AM category. But for you, victory is always a good thing, and you can definitely savor this one. But I know you got probably some more folks, teams, families, friends. You want to mention them here?
Yeah, my wife, mother-in-law, family, they're all watching right now. Friends at work, they're cheering me on too through text and everything. So it's pretty good to have people watching. To you guys, Apex TV for putting this on, Ricmotech for all that they do to support this race, and just all the other drivers too for being so patient and lending a hand where we need it.
Yeah, well, we appreciate all the extra viewers as well. So glad they're all watching. Glad that they got to see a good show tonight and see one of the Slow Bros taking the victory here tonight. Dale Maxwell, awesome job getting the victory here at Indy in GT4 AM. Congrats.
Thank you, guys.
All right, there you go, everybody. Dale Maxwell, your winner in AM. Let's move over to our GT4 Pro race winner this evening, driving his Orion Race Team Porsche. It's Leo Dragotta.
All right, Leo. A bit of a mad start tonight, trying to pull away from the pack. Eventually, your pace just sort of overwhelmed the crowd. Tell me a little bit about how well that Porsche was running tonight and that setup was working so good for you.
Yeah, Porsche was quick as always. Setup felt good. I've noticed this season that it's kind of been one setup, and we've kind of used only one setup throughout the whole season so far. So it wasn't anything new, and it kind of helped because I didn't put much practice in. So it was a setup I was familiar with. So just got to the pace quick and just managed, tried to be consistent.
Yeah, what we had seen is the race went on. Mike Dam continued to put pressure on. He was getting closer and closer. Were you watching that gap a little bit and wondering if he was ever going to be able to be back on your heels?
Yeah, a somewhat big gap opened up in the first stint. I was like, I'm going to start fuel save and try and take less fuel, but that ended up hurting me because I took a little less fuel than I thought I needed. So Mike clawed me in. I was trying to feel safe, but then at the end noticed I didn't need it. I had a lap extra, so just some miscalculations for me. But yeah, Mike had good pace. I think we were pretty much even.
Yeah, it definitely looked pretty good. I think he may have had some near contact or something with one of the LMP3s early in the race that may have caused the initial gap, but he closed it up. So it's good racing right up until the end. And for you, getting another victory here in the GT4 Pros has definitely gone well towards the season championship as we get about halfway through. But you kind of now start to keep an eye on the rest of the field and knowing who your rivals are turning out to be.
Yeah, it seems like the rivals are just my teammates in the Porsches and everybody else in the Porsches. I mean, next round I think is Mexico, so cars for the turbos are going to be quick because that track has a high elevation, so we're not going to be the fastest anymore. But you know, we got a good mid corner and exit speed, so you know, we'll just do our best next round.
Well, we're all looking forward to that as well, as it'll be a new track for the Monday Night Ricmotech series. I'm sure all folks like yourself have gotten laps in. The rest of us, it's going to be a lot of us our first look at it, and can't wait to see that. But meanwhile, we get to celebrate a win here tonight, and I'm sure you got some folks you want to thank.
Yeah, you guys for the broadcast, everybody that puts on the league, Orion, Huffy, family. Yeah, that's it.
All right, well, congrats for the victory here again. We're looking forward to Mexico City in a couple weeks. For Orion Race Team, Leo Dragota, your winner in GT4 Pro.
Thanks.
All right, thanks so much to young Leo and all of our other race winners and podium finishers here this evening at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So let's again take a look at what we've got coming up in the next couple weeks. Next Monday night, 8:10 a.m. Well, given tonight's race start, maybe AM is right. 8:10 p.m. Eastern time next week. It's the return of the Ricmotech World Challenge for our GT3, GTP, and LMP2 racers. Going to be at the Algarve International Circuit. That's Portimao in Portugal. Another 75-minute race for them. Then in 2 weeks, we're going to be heading to the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez here with the miniMite Sportscar Challenge for a 60-minute race. That is Monday night, October 27th. And then as we move over to the month of November, Larry and I are going to be hanging out in those high altitudes, getting our best Mexican food because the Ricmotech World Challenge will follow the miniMites into Mexico City, and we will have another one of the World Challenges 75-minute rounds. Now, you know, coming up in a couple weeks after that, Larry, I'm definitely looking forward to the round 6 of the miniMite Sports Car Challenge, where somehow, and we know this weeks ahead of time, it's going to rain. So definitely want to stick around for the remaining rounds on the season. All right, so for Larry Left and Clown, for John Grabowski, I'm Greg Ginsburg, and we'll see you next Monday night. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good
Ricmotech, high-performance sim racing equipment. There's only one place to go, ricmotech.com.